Hi, this is Greg in Pensacola, Florida. I'd like to welcome you to my YouTube channel. First, Happy New Year and welcome to 2016. I got a lot of things I'd like to talk about that's going to happen with the channel this year and what's been going on since November. So we'll start in November. Right at the end of November, I have a rental house that I do rent out. I had my previous tenants that were there ended up leaving a little bit earlier than the February timeframe that we were originally looking at, which was fine. It just accelerated when I needed to spend time working on that house. So pretty much the whole month of December and the first couple weeks of January was spent over there, cleaning, painting, sanding, just getting the house ready. And I've moved another tenant in. So that was a huge time sink off my time and really affected probably any recording, painting. I didn't get a whole lot done hobby-wise then. But new tenants moved in this weekend. They're all good to go. So now my time is freed back up. Also in November, around Black Friday, I was able to order my 3D printer, which I did talk about in the last video that I was going to purchase. And so I've got that in. If you see the TV screen behind me, I've got a slideshow running. These are some of the 3D printed parts. And not parts, but 3D printed items that I've done. Also did the Dragon Lock 3D printable dungeon terrain Kickstarter. I did the whole buy-in on that, which wasn't that really expensive anyway. So what's happening with that is they've just finished delivering this first expansion so you had a core set, which we're going to review the Dragon Lock in its own separate video. And they just did the first expansion. So it's going to have narrow corridors and things like that. But we'll talk about that in the other video. Super jazzed to get that printer. It's worked just phenomenal since the day I got it. I bought the Maker Gear M2. I know I was deciding between the Taz 5 and the Maker Gear. Doesn't matter which one of those two you would have print. I put myself at a $2,000 budget. This came in under the $2,000, and I have just been doing nothing but printing ever since. I've had no clogs. I've had nothing break. It's got a good warranty on it. So I'm pretty excited and been really excited with having this piece of technology. So much so that I've enrolled back in school into an engineering graphics program because I am really liking designing in CAD things for the printer. Not very great at it yet. I'm really envious of some of the things that some people can do, but you can have the printer and print things all day long, and we'll talk about things like Thingiverse and things like that. But being able to design something, even some ridiculous stuff, there's a couple things that when I move into the actual 3D printing video that we'll talk about that I made that just needed to serve a purpose. And yeah, I could have done something else, but it was fun, and I can print one on demand again if I need it, but we'll do that in a separate video. Hirst starts, yeah. The inn, I got 2 rooms left. The paint, we'll put that to bed next weekend. Then, like the last video, I've got 200 pounds of Merlin's Magic. I've got 60 plus molds back there. We need to figure out where we want to go. So, another project coming up. I think I'm leaning towards the bridge. I really want to do that industrial bridge, that bridge mold that he did. I've already cast quite a few sets out of that when we did the inn. I bought into Team Yankee, and if you don't know what that is, that's 15 millimeter Flames of War made by Battlefront, but the Team Yankee era is going to be up in your 80s. So if you've read the books like Red Storm Rising or anything like that, it's going to be that era. It's going to be your M1 Abrams tanks. It's got the T-72s, the Hind Deltas. So I think this bridge, coupled with some terrain, will look really nice on the table. So I think that's not too crazy hard. I could use some of that stuff anyways, for the game on there. So I think that's where I'm going to go next. The Gothic Dungeon, that's a big project I really, really, really want to do this year. So I'm excited to look into doing that. That's where most of that Merlin's Magic is being set aside for. So be casting a ton of blocks, prepping up for that, and then we can work on that together. And I'd also like to do some custom pieces. I can look at what you did and then reproduce it type of guy. I'm not your just whip it out of my head and design it. I'd like to push into that space. That's not a huge comfortable space that I sit in on there. So maybe getting out of the comfort zone a little bit on there, working on that, and get some ideas from you guys. Some interaction on there would be a lot of fun. We talked about the 3D printing. We talked about the Hirst starts. Next thing, War Machine. War Machine's still going on every Wednesday night. Like I said, I'm a press ganger. Aaron in town is our main press ganger at the store we do at. We've got a convention We got a big tournament coming up on the 30th, Coastal Assault, and I'm hoping to make it down to Orlando for Crucible in March. And that is a War Machine weekend qualifier, which I have no chance on qualifying for, but I'm still going to go down, play, have fun, throw dice. We just started in Guild Ball. Guild Ball, created by some guys over in the UK. It's got some of the War Machine guys helped play test it, helped develop, helped work through the rules. People in our group bought it before I did on there. I watched them play the other night. I say, it's pretty nice. It's a low cost to entry. It's quick to play on the table. You don't need tons of terrain. It plays on a 3x3, so it takes up the same footprint that a game like X-Wing does or something like that. So I did buy into the engineers on that. We've got some stuff coming up, and we may record a few of those games, but the War Machine games are going to continue to show up on the channel. The difference being, and the reason we didn't do Chain Attack, is when you're trying to produce a video for that on a weekly basis, it starts turning into a job. And if you're doing all the video editing and recording and dragging the equipment around and things like that, it starts not becoming fun, so that's the thing. You want to have fun. You want to have fun with the hobby. You want to have fun with what you do, whether it's painting, sculpting, building, whatever it is you like to do. I've seen some great YouTube channels out there. I'll talk about in some other videos too, just some neat stuff that just guys and gals with huge amounts of talent, that they do. So I like to think that our little corner, this is pretty niche, Dungeon terrain, even with Hirst starts, is niche. 3D printing dungeon terrain is really niche. It's starting to come online. Dungeon Master Mark just put up his first video the other day, so go check that out on his channel. It's really good. And we'll talk about some of the other 3D printing channels that, if you're into that. So Hirst starts is not going away. So what you're going to get a fill of videos as we're going. So, and anyone that knows the cast the Hirst starts knows that it's a process. You have to cast it, you have to dry it, you have to assemble it, you have to paint it. So all that's going on. You can multitask with a 3D printer. It can sit there and print some 3D dungeon terrain for you and help integrate it in with your Hirst starts. The stuff's going to look great. So just to give you an example, here's a tray full of stuff that we're going to talk about in the 3D printing video. They do things like stress tests with dice towers, so that came out really nice. So then I printed the big dice tower. Things like programs. This is a tower in a college that somebody took a scan of with their phone. There's an app called, I think it's 123D Catch, and he walked around the tower with his phone and made an app. So, made a model that you can print. So this is great. I can put this on a table now. I probably won't put it out there blue. That just happened to be the filament I had loaded at the time because I was doing the dice towers. But I could paint that, dry brush it up gray, slap it right down in the middle of my table for terrain. Your D&D campaign, it doesn't matter. And we'll get some more close-ups on here. You can actually see some face and some other items on there, but the technology is really neat. Yeah. And of course, Star Wars came out. Yeah. This is my Millennium Falcon 3D print. Took about 10, 11 hours to print that. We'll talk about that too in some of the other videos. So I'm really excited. I got a new video camera. That's another reason I jumped out in front of this. Not sure if I said that already. I got to reshoot some videos for Lady Sibel Designs. If you look her up on YouTube, she's the one that does these Rags to Riches molds. So I have 4 of her molds. I shot all 4 videos on there thinking everything was okay, and just the quality of the constant in and out focus, because I was doing it with that C920 webcam, it just would not hold the macro on there. And it really upsets me because I thought the audio portion was pretty good. So I'm hoping I can reduplicate what I talked about and what I talked about on her designs and stuff like that and get a decent video shoot. So if you don't want to wait for the video, go to her webpage. She does some great stuff. It's all custom designed. The molds are reasonably priced. She does the same thing as Hirst Starts does. If you sell less than I think hers might be 500 or 1,000, but she has, you can use it, if you want to make some casts for a friend or something like that and build some stuff. She has it all laid out. It's just like Hirst Starts. You get a limit per year before you're considered a business. So it's a lot of fun. So check out her page. We're talking about some of the other big 3D printing YouTube channels that are out there. 3D Printing Nerd, Barnacles, Maker's Muse, this young guy over in Australia, has got a really good channel. So we'll talk all about that. So I'm excited. 2016 looks excited. I was glad to get back into this in July. I like that there's a whole bunch of options out here. In addition to the War Machine, maybe some Guild Ball videos. I do play X-Wing. That's an easy footprint to get a camera over the top of. So lots of content, lots of stuff. Team Yankee, Guild Ball, War Machine, D&D. I organized my shelves the other night, pulled everything off those shelves. So if you watch the last video, I went and reorganized. So I might do a couple videos on we'll just talk about what's on the shelf, because now I can actually make heads or tails of how everything is organized and make a logical progression around the room to see how it is. And the last thing I like to do is thank all the new subscribers. I picked up a bunch of subscribers really quick. Granted, we're still not at 1,000. I'll be really stoked when we hit 1,000. But we are pushing right through the 700s very quickly, shockingly quickly for me not putting out a video in a month and a half. So I'm glad that you're liking the content that I've already done. That's good enough for you to hit that subscribe button. And I really hope you stick around to see what's coming. And I'm going to, try to pull some other people in. So it's just not Hirst Arts. It's just not 3D printing. It's gaming. It's fun, just having some fun on the channel. So I love to do some live stuff. I said that a long time ago, but I think I have the rig to do it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes on there. But I just want to say thank you. We're back. It's in 2016. Everything is calmed down at work. The house is taken care of. Thank you to the new subscribers, and we'll see you in the next video.